right, back with my next guest in the massage chair interview series. One of my longtime friends, fellow former colleague in the financial services business, Mr. Carlos Garcia. Carlos, give him a what's up out there.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Hold on, got a little applause here somewhere, I think. Okay. Did you hear that?
Barely.
Yeah. Uh, so, Carlos is visiting here for the first time, coming out of San Antonio. Where are you originally from?
San Antonio, born and raised.
Born and raised,
Yes,
State
sir.
Town. What part?
Southwest side. I went to Southwest High School.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I lived a little closer to Castroville, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And you still stay in that area, or you moved to a different part?
Still in, I guess, the same area, but like I don't know, maybe about 5-10 miles from where I grew up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of keep it around. You want to stay around your same favorite restaurants and.
And close to home.
Yeah.
You know, close by my parents, by my in-laws. So.
Yeah, that's good. And let's talk a little bit about that. You know, not to get too deep in the personal, but you're married, correctly, right? Correct.
Yes.
How long you been married?
We have been married 16 years.
16 years. And how long you been together?
We have been together 19 years now.
Nice.
19, yes.
Cool,
Almost
man.
2 decades.
Yeah, that's like a Justine and I. This is our 18th year. And I think I shared this in another video. I told Justine, I said, babe, our relationship is graduating high school. And she said, that's crazy because I'm barely over 18. I'm like, yeah, me too, right?
Since y'all were babies.
Oh man, you look at a picture of us. I think somebody shared it, or it's on my photo album. But like, we were in college, or we were like college age. I think we were both 21, and there's a picture of us at her brother's high school baseball game. We look like we were freshmen. Like we look so young. I mean, compared to now, we're a little bit more seasoned.
Well, my wife and I, we've known each other since middle school. So she was in 6th grade and I was in 8th grade the first time we met. I was friends with her brother.
Oh wow!
And there's pictures of us standing in quinceañeras. And I mean, we looked like babies, man.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
That's cool to have that long history, though.
Yeah.
Like kind of like, hey, we've known each other for. I mean, you said 2 decades, basically, right? And like.
That's how long we've been together.
Yeah, you've been together 2 decades, known each other longer than that, and that's a good like testament of you guys' love and loyalty to each other for that amount of time. And I know there's ups and downs in many relationships.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Most relationships aren't spared the struggles, but the ones that withstand and triumph and persevere, those are the good ones. And I'm glad that y'all guys got a happy, healthy family. Kiddos are, I know, what, high school or older now? Or?
Yeah, no, they're in high school. My daughter is going to be 18 this year, and she's a senior.
Dang.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. She's doing a lot of dual credit classes, so she's enrolled in 3 different universities while she's in high school. So she's getting all these college credits also. And then my son, he is in a magnet school for law in high school. He's a sophomore, and he's just killing it in school right now.
Yeah.
I couldn't be more proud of my kids, man. They're doing so well.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
And so you've been an entrepreneur for a little while, right? You, aside of from what you currently do, you've been running your own show.
Yeah.
For like, tell us a little bit about that.
So I started my first business in 2011. I was a truck driver, and I bought my first 18-wheeler then. And I was an owner-operator. Didn't, start an LLC. I was just a sole proprietor. Thought I was doing everything the right way, I mean, it wasn't bad or anything, but, now that I've been in the financial side, I know what I should have done back then, And then that truck didn't work out, had a ton of problems, sold it, and, became a company driver again. Then I ended up starting another trucking company a few years later. That one did really well. Ended up selling that one to my cousin. He was my business partner, sold my share, and then that's when I got into the financial industry. And that's when I met you, man.
Yeah.
And at New York Life, and it it was good. I mean, the good times are good, the bad times are bad. And but I mean, I wouldn't change it just because now I know with my firm what I want to do and how I want to help my agents. And when I start growing my agents, start recruiting, I know how I want to treat them. I know how I want to train them, and I know, I mean, I've gone through these struggles and the ups and downs, so I know what they're going through firsthand. And you know, showing them how to help the clients the right way, not just to try to make a buck, to
Yeah.
help the clients because that's what's going to help, their business in the long term. Like I have clients now that I've had, 3 years, 4 years, and they're sending me referrals, and they're sticking with me through everything. So I feel like, building those relationships and learning what I didn't want to do, early on is what's helping me now.
Yeah. Now let's go back a little bit because from what I know about you, that you're a sports guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
I know your daughter's into basketball. You're into basketball. Is that like your main sport?
Basketball is, yes. My son's into basketball. My daughter was in volleyball, but now she's an athletic trainer.
Okay. I thought she was in
yeah.
basketball back in the day.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
she tried. She tried.
Okay.
She
But-
gave her best shot.
But like, so you going back to a young little Carlitos when you first met your wife, you were basketball in school?
I didn't play in school. I just hooped, all over San Antonio, basically.
So you're just like a natural talent.
I mean, I wouldn't say that, but yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
Any organized sports in school, or you just kind of went through and
I
Got
did
it.
my freshman and sophomore year, played football and basketball. But at the end of my sophomore year, I started working. Tough times and stuff with at home. So I started working to help out around the house and stuff, and help with bills and all that good stuff. So I ended up quitting sports, and it's tough, but I mean, I'm a numbers guy. I know what the statistics are. The chances of me getting into the pros was going to be pretty slim, especially I'm only 6'2". I'm not 6'5", 6'6". So I was like, well, so yeah, I mean, I made the executive decision to not be in sports anymore in school.
dang.
Yeah.
And so after high school, did you go to college, or you just were still in the work field right away?
Yeah, I just went straight into the workforce. My first job out of high school was I was a detention officer in Bear County.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah. So I know you were a detention also, right?
Yeah. Corrections at Hayes County.
Yeah. I was in Bear, and I was there for 2.5, 3 years, something of that sort.
Yeah.
Mandatory overtime, all that
Yeah.
bad stuff. So
On call, and then you're always going to get called in because they need somebody. Yeah, I remember I was talking to an officer here in town when I was at corrections, and they worked at Bear County Corrections for a little bit, and they're like, "Man, it's crazy there." And I was telling them where I'm at. I was like, "Well, it's not as crazy. Like, it's surprising when you get that job, or at least for me, when I first applied and went through the interview process, and they basically were going to offer me the job. They're like, "What do you expect from this, career or this job?" And I'm like, well, I'm, expecting it to be somewhat physical. And they're like, yeah, it's not really. Not where we were at. It was almost like a adult daycare, right?
Yeah.
And some people were like, they did what? They had like rewards for if you had the cleanest dorm. So they had like a competition.
What?
They had a competition where it's like, I don't know how often they did it, but it's like, I mean, it worked because it helped the dorms become more cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were like win pizza or whatever, right? Something just different, nothing crazy. But in our dorm areas, it's like, okay, hey, we really want to win, and we don't want, the other inmates in the tank. They're like kind of keeping tabs on each other. Hey, man, make sure you clean your stuff up and have this in order. So it wasn't too hard. My corrections experience wasn't too crazy until my last year. I was in the segregation area and a little bit more things to handle up in seg.
Yeah, mine was. I mean, it wasn't crazy. I guess overall, I hit the floors right before I turned 19, so I was still 18 years old when I hit the floors.
Dang,
Yeah, pretty young.
little young pup, and they're like barking orders at grown men.
when I went on the tour, like before I hit the floors on my own, when they tour everything, we went to the it's the homosexual pod, and let's just say they just did not stop. I was like, oh
Yeah.
crap, what the heck?
Yikes.
hopefully I'm not here because I might be in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so then I hit the floors on my own, and they start you off at night most of the time,
Yeah.
and I didn't know how bad the pod was. It was a good pod. Like the trustees would come out and clean at night, and that was it. So I would only have to deal with like 4 people every night, except for during breakfast. But most of the time it was quiet. I started looking up what they were in there for, and I was like, oh wow, they're murderers.
Right.
I mean, it was just crazy. I was like, they have this 18-year-old watching these people. Okay. But yeah, man, it was definitely an experience, and then I went to when I got into to the day shift, it was a lot different. Then I got on the CERT team, which was shaking down the tanks and doing all that sort of stuff. And if there's fights, going and breaking everything up. So yeah,
That's like you're like waiting. Man, it was so funny when I worked at my corrections job. We had the training, defensive tactics, and what do they call them? Riot training, right?
yeah, yep.
The only like quote unquote riot that happened was my day off. They're like, "Oh man, you missed it." I think it was my shift, but I think I had a day off or something like that. I'm like, man, really? I was like, well, whatever. Like,
yeah, you're like, oh well, I'm kind of glad I missed it too at the same time.
Yeah. I guess I didn't have to write that report.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I remember when I first started, and I was like in just my, 511s and a polo, right? Because I didn't have my uniform yet.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting in the control room and looking at the dorms, and I remember thinking to myself, like, am I not supposed to look at these inmates in the eyes? Like, what's the rule? Like, don't look them in the eyes. And eventually you find out that, they're just like anybody else, right? Like if you see a celebrity, they're just a person, right?
Yeah.
These people that are in jail, they're just people that, made a mistake or had a wrong choice or whatever, but it's not, I guess, don't think too much into it.
Yeah.
And maybe that can like lead us into, more of the business realm too. Like if there's someone out there, and maybe I'll ask you this question. Have you like gone and reached for somebody's advice or training or, like, hey, what did you do to be successful? Almost like in sports, right? Like if you want to be better at basketball, you're going to probably try to seek advice from, let's just say, Coach Popovich. Like, hey, what do you do? How do you tell these guys to be so good? Like, have you done that? Or what has your experience been doing that in your career right now?
I guess with advice, I listen to a lot of people on, I guess, like YouTube, like I mean, yeah, motivational stuff, but not too much motivational. It's more of people that are, that strategize. Like, I don't know if you've heard of Myron Golden. He's, a man of faith, and he teaches, business structure from, the viewpoint of the Bible, and things of that sort. I'm trying to bring the Lord more into my business is what I've been trying to do more the last, few years. Cause, for me, it's important, diving more into faith and learning more. And it's just something that I didn't, have a lot of when I was younger, I mean, I was raised Catholic, did my first communion, confirmation, all that good stuff, but I never really went into faith. Until now. So I feel like, as far as advice and guidance, I do more going through the experiences, so I know what I've been through, and I know how I want to help, the agents that I'm going to recruit, and I mean, it's not just in the industry that I'm in, but I have people in different industries that I reach out to. I have a buddy who's in the construction business, and I'll reach out to him and, hey man, how do you deal with these situations? And he'll give me his perspective, and just doing it. I mean, getting advice from different business owners. Yeah. That's how I've been able to do it.
Yeah, and then that's good though, because like when I was talking about anybody just being a person, right, celebrity or anybody in jail, right, like even in business, like if there's somebody who seems a higher caliber, they have success, and they're, what community they live in, like, okay, they're doing real well. At the end of the day, they're still a person. Like, you can still potentially approach them. But having a sphere of like this person you're talking about, and not in your industry, but he is a business owner, or he's trying or running his business successfully. Like keeping your circle where it's like minded, right? Because you want to continue your success and continue to grow your success. So you're going to want to surround yourself by those people. Like I think about, I work with Matt, and even before I worked with him when I was in the insurance business, I would still hang around with him because I know that he runs his business the right way. He's well respected and known, for being a Christian guy, a great, business person, for running his business at a high level. And so I believe in that. What is it? You're the sum of the five people you hang around,
Exactly.
right? You're either going to be the fifth winner or the fifth loser.
Exactly.
So don't,
Yeah.
don't blame anybody but yourself if you continue to run around in, certain groups of individuals.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And like my buddy Victor, the one that owns a construction business, he started off just as he had some equipment and he would clear land, and then he started working a little bit closer with builders, and now he's doing whole neighborhoods. He's clearing out the neighborhoods and clearing out where the streets are gonna go. And he has several contracts with several different builders in San Antonio. And I mean, to get to that point, I mean, you have to take those leaps, and you have to have the confidence in yourself to be able to get your business there and the employees to get yourself there. So, that's something that I learned from him is, just jump, just go do it, and talk to the people that you need to talk to. And, so that way you can get to those different levels.
Yeah. Well, I remember like whenever I was in insurance, trying to get in, we can help anybody. We can help a baby get a little Gerber policy, quote unquote Gerber policy, not necessarily Gerber, and we can help somebody who's running a, $50 million company. But you just got to go and ask.
Yep.
You got to either ask for the introduction, you got to ask for the conversation, and just kind of be there as a resource, as a support, as a person in front of them. Because it's like, and not that this applies to either one of us because we're married, but I've seen like videos where these guys are like, they go into a attractive girl, like, oh, you must get asked out all the time. She's like, no, actually nobody asked me out, because they're all intimidated, right? They're intimidated because they think that she's gonna say no. And then the one guy that comes to her is like, you're just average looking dude, and she's like, sure, nobody ever asked me. So it could be the same thing in business where you're like, they probably have somebody, and they might not. Like, you just go and have a conversation and be there and kind of be in front of them.
And the truth is that a lot of business owners don't know. I mean, they know how to build the company, they know how to build their business, they know how their business is running, but they don't know how to protect it for the future. And that's where we come in, coming in and helping them with, the different strategies that we can implement for them, to make sure that their businesses stay afloat for, longer, and they're able to pass it down future generations.
Right.
So.
Yep. What's that saying? If you fail to plan, then plan to fail.
Exactly.
Yeah. I like to use especially like in my industry, I talk to realtors and even other like new mortgage lenders about putting the right things in place. And so the book Think and Grow Rich, you read it, right, by Napoleon Hill. Mm-hmm. I always think back to when he talked about Henry Ford always hiring the people that were the best at what they do. Exactly. Henry Ford was good at running the business from what he was the best at, but he wasn't the best accountant. He's like, well, I'm going to hire an accountant. I don't know how to do all that stuff, and I don't want to figure it out because I want to be the best at what I do. And that's kind of like the same way. Like, it's why people need you. People need me. People need to kind of disperse especially on the business owner side, right? Like, you got to disperse like those responsibilities out, because you try to figure it out, then you're going to be slacking in the other spot where that's where you're most valuable at.
Exactly. And I mean, delegation is a huge part of it. And I mean, you're right. You get caught up in it because you feel like you can do it, or you know what, I'm gonna learn it because that way I don't have to have that expense.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's, you could be paying someone, $1,500 a month, $2,000 a month, but it, versus you doing it, and you feel like you're saving that money, but it's really taken away from your time of being productive, and you're really losing out on much more.
Yeah.
but people don't see it. They just see what's in their bank account, what's going out versus what they're actually losing by them doing it themselves.
Yeah.
And that's not even including mistakes that they might make. So, yeah, that might be even more.
And mistakes are going to come. We can't. You don't. But just don't let them affect you moving forward. Like identify it and admit it or whatever. Okay, I did it. Let's move on. Let's go to the next thing. Yeah. So let me ask before we wrap up here. Young Carlos, just out of detention center, running his first business. If you can go back and talk to him and give him one piece of advice that you've learned over this time of you being a entrepreneur, business owner, what's one thing right now that pops in your head?
I would say jump, do it, because I think that's one thing that's held me back quite a bit is that, I second guess myself or I second guess the process or whatever I have to go through. I overthink it. So then that puts me behind, let's say at least a week or two. And versus, just jumping and getting it done, and it doesn't have to look pretty the first time, but next time you do it, if you fail, next time you do it, at least you come from knowledge, you have the experience. So you're not going to make the same mistake again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's all these kind of quotes. It's like, what is it? Like, I'm either winning or I'm learning or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So
never failing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because if you're not trying, then, you're never going to learn.
Yeah. The only time you fail is when you stop, when you quit.
Mm-hmm.
When you stop doing it, then that's when you fail. So.
Yeah. There's a thing I listen to quite often, actually. It's Billy Graham, right? Old preacher. This guy is, well known for it. And there's a part in this message where he talks about indecision is the decision not to. So by you not knowing whether or not to do it, you're deciding not to do it. Mm-hmm. Like you're telling yourself no. Yeah. So don't tell yourself no.
Yeah. And there's another thing that, because I was doing the 21-day fast and with, in prayer. And one thing was, a lot of times whenever you overthink things or you hesitate, you're putting more on yourself. You're basically making yourself greater than what the Lord, how can I put it? You think you're more prideful and you're not supposed to be prideful. You're supposed to, the Lord is telling you, hey, do this. And you're overthinking it because you feel like you have a better plan than the Lord, or you're trying to figure something else out. And the Lord is just telling you, hey, just do it. It's not, you're who you are. And, you have the gifts because he gave them to us, and you just have to be able to jump and do it. And when you second guess yourself, you're just making yourself feel, you think of yourself more than what the Lord has given you, so you just got to jump and do it.
Well, and, that's something that Justine and I, like we've been married for 14 years now too. We've been, a little while. And one thing that we've come into an agreement on is when you release your life to the Lord, and you give him control of your life, then it just seems easier because you're following direction, right? You're meditating, you're praying, you're getting into the word, you're fellowshipping with, like-minded believers, but then life just seems lighter.
Exactly.
Like if you just let go.
Yep.
Let go and let God, right? And that's the thing some people say. I've heard it. But you let go and you just let God direct your life. Hey, God, is this the right move for me? Okay. If it's the wrong move, then the Holy Spirit will speak to you. But you got to be connected, though.
Yep.
Like in church, in our church, the last few weeks, our message has been like the vine, right? You got to be. If you're not connected to the vine, then you're dead, right? You can't bear fruit. Like you got to be connected to God. And Jesus is the vine, and we are the branches, and we produce fruit. And I might get that wrong a little bit, but essentially, like, if you're not connected, then you can't bear good fruit.
Yeah, that makes sense. You got to be active. It's like, there's that. It's the story of the guy who, he was stranded at sea, and he was on a small boat, and he was praying, Lord, come save me, and a ship comes by and he was like, no, I'm waiting for the Lord to come get me. And then, let's say a helicopter comes by and he's like, no, the Lord is going to save me. He ends up dying out there and he goes to heaven. He's like, why didn't you help me? He was like, man, I sent you a ship and a helicopter, man. You could have jumped on either one. But, Yeah, you have to be able to see, you know, the blessings that he's sending you, you know,
Sure.
and you have to run with those, you know, and you have to be active, and you have to see what he's giving you, so that way you can act upon those.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good stuff right there, man. Well, shameless plug yourself. Tell people where they can find you, what you do, you know, and go a couple.
Awesome.
Minute.
So yeah, so I'm in the life insurance industry, financial industry, help business owners protect what they've built and help them, you know, build on to the next generation, whether they want to sell or, you know, they want to pass it on to their you know, children. I'm here to help. They can contact me 210-954-0134. My email is cgarcia@gdconsultinggroup.com.
And stay tuned. He's about to start releasing a lot of videos.
Yes, yes.
This is the first of many. And we had a conversation about him
Yeah.
getting this going. So look for him on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram or wherever he's going to post them. But
Yeah, I might have to download TikTok and start doing some TikToks too. So I don't know. That's what I heard. So
yeah.
We'll see what happens.
All right, man. Appreciate you being here.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Later.